Hey everybody, welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Got another toy video today. A couple figures I've been wanting for a while, finally found them at a price I could live with. This is the Golden Age Batman and Robin. And I haven't taken these guys out of their package yet. We're going to do that today and take a little bit of a look at them. And we might be having a brief pause that I'll cut out of the video while I take these out, because a lot of these figures are still designed in the, you will practically, die trying to get the damn things out of the package. So we'll see how long it takes to get this out. But we'll start, and let's take a look. Back of the box. The greatest heroes in the universe join forces to combat the world's most diabolical villains. Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson. Based on DC Comics. The Golden Age collection, which, if memory serves, I think this might have been the only thing out of the Golden Age collection. But they are in the same basic style as the Silver Age figures that I've shown on this channel before, and of which I have most. And I have to say, I really, I liked this version of Batman better in some ways than the version of Batman that comes with the Silver Age collection. All right, so let's start the Bataan Death March of removing figures from a package, that this often is. Put that box to the side. Okay, now we can at least, at a minimum, we can get a better look at these two figures. Now you'll see the Silver Age Batman figure has a removable cowl. This one does not. Big smile on his face. Here we got the Boy Wonder. Wow, these are held in tight too. I cannot move them. We got the blue, we got the gray, we got the bat symbol without the oval. Utility belt, utility belt. All right. So, pretty comic accurate. Now you might be saying, though, hold on a second. Golden Age Batman was a dark vigilante. He wasn't that smiling, goofy character that we saw in 1966 on TV screens. Well, that's almost right. It's kind of right. When Batman first shows up, he definitely has the sort of grim Avenger thing going. There you can see May 1939. That's the first appearance of Batman, Detective Comics number 27. And he retains that darker image for quite some time. Here you can see in Detective number 29, I think that's his first supervillain, Dr. Hugo Strange. Not the Joker, although the Joker comes along pretty early on, as does Catwoman, initially called the Cat. And so you definitely see there is a bit of a darker tone here. Batman looming over a castle with this figure in the red hood creeping off. But by April of 1940, here comes Robin, the sensational character find of 1940. And you can see Batman is already starting to lighten up a bit. And clearly they were probably already getting a little bit of heat and wanting to shift this more towards a book for youngsters. They were a little worried about, how grim he was. And you notice the difference. Here we have a looming Batman again, but he's got a great big smile on his face. Still, though, have the black. It's dark and all that. And so we're getting the smile. There's the black, cape, the black, etc. But here we go, Detective number 53. we're in the blue and gray, and we sort of made that transition, and I'll show off this one. I'm sorry. So there we have kind of there's Batman number 3. It was, around the same time as some of those Detective Comics in like the 30s or so. I don't mean the 1930s. I mean the number 30s. So, the transformation into the friendlier character started pretty early on. And so this characterization of him being really dark in the old days, it's sort of true, but he didn't stay very dark for very long. And I'll show off this one page because I enjoyed. You see the sort of eyebrows they have on his cowl there, reminiscent of anybody? Yeah, I wondered if this image influenced the Adam West cowl design, because this is fairly early on, and we really don't see that again. It was just this one shot. So yeah, Batman can be dark, but Golden Age Batman was not dark for very long, and he really blends pretty seamlessly with the Silver Age Batman that becomes Adam West. And Batman 66 was based more on the 1940s serials and the 1950s comics than it was on anything else. So let's see. Here's the fun part where I try to actually take these things out of the package. So let's go with the Batman 66 sort of, I don't know what you call this, transition image. Well, I try to get these guys loose. All right, folks, we're back. That was a little work. It's kind of like getting Batman and Robin out of a Joker death trap. So let's take a look first at the Batman. Big smiley face. Now this is very much in line with the other figures from this mold in terms of the hands. You see the feet flex, which is good for doing a dynamic sort of pose, but can make it difficult to just have them stand. So oftentimes you do need to get a stand to go with them. We got some torso movement in here, leg movement, etc. One thing I like about these figures is they were good and chunky. They got some heft to them, so they're sturdy. They're not going to just, the wind isn't going to blow them over. Let's take a look at the boy Wonder. One thing I noticed right off is his cape snaps on right there. So you can take the cape off pretty easily. Pretty good likeness in terms of the face of that early Robin. But I will note that I've been rereading the early Batman comics from the beginning because I'd never done it before. And one thing you pick up on pretty quick is there's a issue where it's Robin's birthday, and he turns 8. And you have to be kind of going, holy mackerel! A 7-year-old kid is out there fighting crime with Batman, and obviously, if you look at the heights here between the two of them, this is not 7-year-old Robin. Face-wise, though, it looks a bit like it. Now, Batman's head does turn, but one thing I notice is, well, actually, no, it's not too bad. I guess it was the way I was holding it. I thought the head was hunched forward a little bit. It's not bad, though, and I like it. It's a pretty good likeness of that later Golden Age Batman. Let's see if I can bring that up again. There it is. Let's look at the one where he's introducing the boy Wonder. And that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Ears are a little bit shorter here. Of course, I mean, things like that were pretty variable. They didn't hold real tight to to that kind of thing back in the day. And you notice that if you go reading from the early Detective Comics and then you phase in the Batman comic and then World's Finest, you'll see some pretty good variation in what the characters look like from book to book. It's not, it's not too bad, but it's a bit of variation. Between different artists. But I like these. I wanted them to go with the Silver Age characters and that I have collected. And like I said, I like the Silver Age Batman is fine, but the cowl that they have that is removable leaves a little something to be desired in terms of the way it looks when it's on the character. And there's a few, when Marvel did its famous covers figures, they did that with Wolverine. They did it with a few, and it's sometimes it works. Iron Man looks okay. Wolverine looks a little off because the mask, obviously, we would assume these masks would be relatively thin if they're human sized, right? But for the toys, they have to be a bit thicker. And so they look almost like, big helmets on their heads. So they look a little goofy. So I was like, and that Batman, that Silver Age Batman figure, usually will run you a little bit. So I'd been on the lookout for these guys, and I did finally get them at a good price. So I couldn't say no. And I wish they had made more Golden Age characters. A Golden Age Superman would have been very cool. For sure. It would have been kind of cool to see Golden Age Flash and Green Lantern, characters like that. And, Golden Age or Silver Age Wonder Woman, because they don't have that with the Justice League Silver Age figures. And they should. Because these are 9-inch figures. And while you can find some 8-inch Wonder Womans in the Mego scale, and you can find 12-inch, can't really find any that go well with these figures. So they also didn't produce a Silver Age Flash, which is kind of silly since he, I think, was the first Silver Age character. So you're so close to having the old Silver Age Justice League, because they did produce a Martian Manhunter at a later point. In fact, I have the old Manhunter right here. Put Martian Manhunter next to Masked Manhunter. This is a really good figure. The cape is really cool. It shows well when he's standing up. Perhaps not as well when he's laying down like this. He was another one I wanted. He actually was not technically part of the Silver Age line. He was part of just the Justice League line. I don't know if they had plans to make a whole lot of these or what. He was in the Silver Age Justice League of America, though. So it made sense to have him there. But at any rate, I have almost that whole little Justice League set, but it unfortunately will never be completable because of the lack of Flash and Wonder Woman, unless somebody comes along and makes those someday. And they look relatively similar to these characters. Well, there you go, folks. Golden Age Batman and Robin. These are nice figures, and they're solid. And I think they're going to look good on the shelf with their compatriots. Check out a little bat booty. Robin, and what looks like scale mail underwear. I don't know if that's what that is. I mean, hey, they complain about Red Sonja and the chainmail bikini, but come on. Look what Robin's running around in. And he's only 7 or 8 years old initially. The Golden Age Batman books are a lot of fun, and I highly suggest you go check them out if you can find any copies online, or if you can find the omnibus or collections. It's interesting watching the character develop, and also seeing how much of the Batman mythos you do get packed into the first 2 or 3 years. Batmobiles, Batplanes, Bat signals. The Cat becomes Catwoman. Penguin shows up. Two-Face comes along pretty soon after. The Scarecrow was in there very early on. So a lot of stuff that we associate with the character is there from a pretty early date. And some of the stories are a little goofy. Some of them are more engaging. The art varies in quality, but definitely from an historical standpoint, worth taking a look at. Well, folks, what do you think? Do any of you have any of these figures? Do you want any of these figures? Have you been collecting them? If you have any thoughts on how well you think the quality is, I'd love to hear it. I like the quality on these figures quite a bit. Again, the only issue I ever have is sometimes if the foot joint is a little loose, it can be difficult to get them to stand properly. But if that's not loose, they do very well. And if you had, a stand, you could put them into special poses, I'm sure. They're pretty posable, these guys. There's a little bit, you can see there's a little bit of room in the costumes to move, the bodies around, so it's not pulling too much on them or forcing them into one position. And of course, if you're John Jones, you're running around practically nude, so that's just not an issue at all. That's how it is on Mars, folks. You just got to deal with it. So yeah, any comments you have, please leave them, and I'll answer back as quickly as I can if I am capable. And in the meantime, if you'd like to maybe like this video, that would help me out. Maybe think about subscribing if you enjoy videos about pop culture. I cover comic books, I cover toys, TV, movies, etc. Not just science fiction and fantasy type stuff. I have some videos up recently where I'm looking at Indiscreet, movie starring Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman. I just did The Quiet Man. So, when I say pop culture, I mean a pretty good swathe of pop culture. If that interests you, maybe you think about subscribing, maybe share with a friend. Until the next time, God bless everybody. Be kind to one another. And try to have some fun out there. And I will see you next time on Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Same dad time. Same dad channel. Bye-bye.